Greetings, everybody.
Hello, sir.
GM, everyone.
GM. Give everybody a few minutes to settle in here. It's been, a busy 24 hours for Asymmetry and Protocol FX.
Yeah.
CryptoVestor, did you get any sleep last night?
No, sir, I did not. I plan on sleeping after this call. I'm being honest. Just
I know you are.
yeah. So no, I did not. But it's good. I just took the night shift. That's how I see it.
Fair enough, sir. Fair
Yep.
enough. Got Justin on. Justin, how are you, sir?
GM guys, doing very well. It's been quite a 24 hours, CryptoVestor. I was beginning to wonder if you ever sleep, man. Everything in the space seems to run through you.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I'll explain that. I actually have a problem sleeping, and so what I do is I kind of utilize my problem and try to use the time I have available to just keep pumping out content and helping the protocols and doing things and tweeting. And so if I'm not going to sleep, I might as well do something. So that's the story.
I totally get it. Well, it's
Yeah.
much appreciated. I know everyone. I love waking up to 10 new CryptoVestor tweets. It tells me everything that I need to know.
You mean in 2 hours, right?
Oh, hey, DeFi Advisor. I didn't know you were going to make it today. Nice to see you here.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, but luckily I am. What's up? Good to be here with you guys. Honestly, really excited about this one. I'm really excited to talk about the Asymmetry finance team. I think they've been getting a lot of traction with such an interesting new product. Excited to talk to them for the first time.
I love Asymmetry. I really do. What you guys are doing to CVX, you're doing God's work. Let me tell you.
Man, that was quick. That was some quick work as well. You know what I mean?
Quick
what happened to the CVX price, man? Okay, we were at $3 a year.
Just needed a little AFE action,
Yeah, needed a little Justin and Hannah to come and pick up the whatever liquidity is left.
You guys were the spark that sparked the flywheel. Honestly, it's incredible. It really is. And now with what can happen with Protocol FX and you got and Asymmetry, it's staggering.
Yeah, saying it's only the beginning is a pretty big cliche, but it actually is only the beginning.
I know.
With the compatibility of this and what we have coming up.
Man, we're gonna have some seriously a hopium space. It feels like they found us. This is a very unique day for both projects, I think.
Yes, it is. It's a monumental day for both projects for sure. So I don't know how should we start? K-Mats, go ahead, and I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Here I'll go ahead and kind of get us kick started because we've got some folks in the audience, and I know Justin and Hannah and the rest of the Asymmetry team got a lot on their hands to take care of today as well. So go ahead and do some intros here. So welcome everyone to the Asymmetry and Aladdindao A-Team space. We are excited to have them as our guests today and learn all about Asymmetry Finance and the launch of their new product, AFE. It's been a very exciting 24 hours and really the last couple weeks, and I bet if we talk to the Asymmetry team long enough, it's probably been weeks and maybe even months and years in the making. So we look to find out all that here very shortly. But first, let me introduce everybody here that's going to be speaking on our panel today. Starting off with, we have the Aladdindao A-Team hitting it off with my buddy DeFi Advisor.
What's up? Good to be on.
Yes, sir. Our sleep-deprived friend, CryptoVestor.
How you doing, guys? Thanks for having me on here.
Absolutely, sir. Listening in is also Meta CVX from the A-Team. And then I'm the host today, K-Mets. And but joining us from Asymmetry is the founders, Hannah.
Hello, happy to be here.
Thanks, Hannah, and then also Justin.
How's it going, guys? Appreciate it, K-Mats.
Absolutely, sir. Always a pleasure to talk with you folks, and looking forward to learning more here. Can you guys go ahead and kind of maybe give us some intros on yourselves, kind of your backgrounds, how you got into crypto and DeFi, and kind of what led you guys down this road to founding Asymmetry and AFE. Hannah or Justin, does one of you want to start off first?
Totally, I can kick it off. So a little bit about my personal background. I used to be in traditional finance, as most of us were, and I worked as an actuary, so measuring risk and creating financial models. All of that led very well into DeFi. So as DeFi ecosystems started getting more advanced, I got increasingly interested, eventually made the jump and started building at different DAOs and DeFi startups full-time, working on tokenomics models, etc. And then actually, I'll give the brief intro of Asymmetry. So it is the week of ETH Denver this week, as I'm sure nearly everyone here is aware of. And Justin and I met at ETH Denver a few years ago, and we basically bonded over being super interested in all of the same protocols and then losing significant amounts of money in a few of them. So over that, we bonded, but that's kind of what got us going with Asymmetry. We said, there's all these ecosystems promising yield that we don't consider to be very sustainable, and then everyone gets rugged. So let's create something that has real yield built on mature ecosystems like Curve and Convex, and bring that to the world. So that's a few years ago at ETH Denver is how our relationship and our, got started. And then from there, we ended up building this whole company.
That's a great introduction, and I love hearing that basically ETH Denver led some in real life ties to some DeFi ties. Like you don't hear a lot of that really from what I've heard from a lot of folks. It's usually ETH Denver is very broad based, but really cool that that sparked sort of the ideas for this protocol. And I think everyone on this call can empathize with losing money in these exciting yield-bearing products. So
Some highly
you have a lot of friends here.
That's how we bond.
Yeah.
We bond by losing money.
some highly experienced individuals on the call on that one.
Yep, exactly.
All right, Justin. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's super true. We were 3-3ing our way all the way to the bottom. So,
Oh, jeez.
but worth it. And yeah, I guess real quick, my background, I made my first Bitcoin wallet back in 2011. So I've been following the space for a long, long time. And went and got degrees in comp sci and finance, did corporate America, software engineering for a little bit, decided I didn't love it. Went and built a cybersecurity startup with some friends. And then from there, I said, all right, it's time to do the crypto thing full time. I joined up with the Shapeshift team and helped Eric Voorhees and all that crew kind of turn it from a centralized entity into the first ever company, Ghost DAO. And it was a big part of product over there. And then led product and at Silo Finance, where we were creating isolated lending markets. And as I think a lot of the llamas know, obviously the Silo llama full built for the Curve USD and Curve lending markets has been a huge success. And so very much entrenched in the Curve Convex ecosystem. And that was a big piece of really a lot of where the ideation came for Asymmetry and aligning ourselves and Asymmetry as a whole with the Curve and Convex ecosystems, holders, llamas, you name it. And so big fans of the ecosystem. And I think that it's genuinely really just getting started. There's so much collaboration that has yet to even happen, and so many cool products and platforms that I think will be built in the future here.
Yeah,
Very cool.
that's we agree totally on building on top the Lego, the DeFi Legos. In fact, I was thinking the other day, I was like, basically, if someone was to create a protocol that could take advantage of absolutely everything that Aladdindao has built in the last 3 years, it's asymmetry. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And so very excited to learn about asymmetry and sort of its evolution into how it came to be and really what is it. So I kind of give you guys the floor is to sort of give us kind of like what's asymmetry protocol and what's it all about?
Yeah, so very high level, asymmetry is pretty much creating a new class of liquid staking tokens we call them hybrid staking tokens. And the whole idea there is offer users an opportunity to both stake Ethereum and also earn higher yield on that asset and on that overall position. So we looked at different yield sources, and as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we wanted it to come from what we consider real and sustainable sources. So there's a few other projects that had higher yield LSTs, and they just created a governance token, endlessly printed it, artificially boosted yield. Everyone ends up losing money at the end of the day when everything falls apart. So we wanted to avoid that. So by creating this hybrid LST, we have yield that comes from staking, and then the other portion of that yield comes from vote lock convex. So we also envision ourselves as we scale becoming kind of a black hole for convex, which we think ultimately benefits that entire ecosystem and makes the yield even more sustainable. So by having a portion of the LST position, the hybrid LST be vote lock convex, we have that set at 30%, and that yields an overall 10 to 11% yield on the position. So you're looking at about over 3 times staking rewards. And then you also have this exposure to vote lock convex. So if, we lock up a lot of convex price goes up. In dollar terms, you're actually making more on that asset as well. There is the downside risk there too, but with a ecosystem of tokens that has a lot of vote locking, obviously that's less volatile than an ecosystem without it. So that's kind of the whole idea is double-digit yield on an LST. This is the very most basic version, and we have a lot coming up in the future roadmap, but we can save a little bit of that for later.
Ooh, listen, already hinting at alpha. Love it.
Always.
Keyword there was black hole for convex. You just gotta love that.
So,
Oh yeah.
so here's my question, kind of right off the bat is why did you guys? So it's a hybrid liquid staking derivative model. Why convex? Why vote lock convex as sort of the hybrid asset? What was appealing about that? And then if you can speak to sort of the allocation of 30%. I'm curious if there was some design choice around that.
Yeah, absolutely. So why vote lock convex for starters? I think you guys know this on this space, but at a high level, it is the kingmaker for a reason within the kind of curve wars, right? And within just liquidity as a whole across DeFi, in my humble opinion. And I think a lot of other people share that as well. And really what we're talking about when we say that, of course, is that Convex is a black hole for other governance tokens. It controls a ton of curve voting power, which turns into real dollar emissions, right? When you're able to direct that to different liquidity pools kind of across the board. So if you control a lot of convex voting power, you're able to control a lot of curve emissions, which therefore spins the flywheel, as we're all big fans of. And so you see protocols competing against each other for this convex, and it creates this whole ecosystem surrounding it because Curve distributes all of their fees back to LPs, and again, Convex is a massive piece of that. So where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's money, there are users, and Convex is a massive piece of that. So we look at it and say, all right, there's tons of protocols out there that offer large APYs. As Hannah said, we bonded originally over losing money in protocols that advertise 7,000% APY, right? And I got nothing. So numbers on a screen, they look nice, but it doesn't translate to dollars, right? Or in ETH or whatever you're denominating in. And so really the whole piece around Convex is, around asymmetry, is let's create products, platforms, strategies that are based on real yield, whether you denominate that in dollars or you denominate it in ETH, or maybe you denominate it in Bitcoin, or maybe even just in Convex tokens themselves. But really, can we create stuff that returns users more of whatever asset they're looking for in real terms? And so that's Convex is kind of the premier asset when we look at it from that perspective, I think. It's now, I think, trading a little bit of a premium to its NAV, but for a while it was well under, and that was a great accumulation phase, as I know a lot of people in here were purchasing then.
100%.
Was there even any actual discussion about like doing it with a different asset, or was it kind of like naturally clear that you guys are going with CVX and it's not even really a real question?
Yeah, I think it was always CVX. There's another ecosystem or two that I think the model can work with, and perhaps there are future items coming where there's potentially additional boosted yield coming from other ecosystems that are relatively similar, right, with the vote escrow models. And you guys are deep in the space. You probably know what I'm getting at now. But for kind of drawing on experience when I was at Silo, that was kind of Silo's 0 to 1 moment of going from a protocol that is cool and should exist to being a protocol that has 9-figure TVL. And so the kind of network effects of being in the Curve and Convex ecosystems are so incredibly strong that I don't think you can discount that in any way, shape, or form. And honestly, I think a lot of protocols sleep on just how dedicated this group and community of probably just a couple thousand people really are to what's being built here. And so aligning with that, I think for us was a no-brainer, and is something we absolutely will continue to do.
Oh, absolutely. You know, one of the things that kind of jumped out at me when I was looking at your design that I thought was really amazing, especially with the vote lock convex. You know, even though you have sort of like kind of like the illiquid nature of vote lock convex, the power that it has and the ability to direct gauge votes towards AF ETH itself is so incredibly powerful that you know, building up liquidity for AF ETH itself, it's generated within the token itself. Just an incredible design and really a great idea that you guys came up with there, and I think we're all really excited to see it you know, in action and supporting gauges. CryptoVestor, what are you thinking right now?
But I'm thinking, why doesn't Justin? Why don't you explain, like, because I like to really break it down so that people understand like what is actually happening behind the scenes, like what the smart contracts are doing. I actually know this because we spoke before, but I think the audience should hear, like, when, you know, someone actually is depositing ETH into your vaults, you know, the way I understand it is that it's basically taking 70%, it's depositing it in with Frax and staking it, and then it's taking 30% and market buying CVX and locking, and it's utilizing primarily the CVX ETH curve pool.
Yeah, CryptoVestor, you nailed it. So again, super high level. Users enter the Asymmetry dApp. They can come with ETH is the most efficient way to stake, but you can also use the Zapper, which basically takes stETH or OETH or another token and turns it into ETH and then sends it into the contract for you to make it easy. But basically ETH gets turned into AF ETH, and what happens in that whole contract call and in the background is 70% of the deposit turns into staked Frax ETH, and 30% of the deposit goes through the CVX ETH curve pool and gets turned into CVX. Then it's automatically locked on the user's behalf as a part of AF ETH itself, and used to participate in the Votium vote market, where it basically is
earns
almost auctioned to the highest bidder.
right, earns the bribes,
yeah.
and then the bribes are
Right.
streamed to the vault, I guess, and slowly streamed to the vault.
Yes. So over a period of 2 weeks, once the incentives from Vodium are harvested, they are basically streamed to the vault or the AFE token over the course of 2 weeks to prevent any massive changes or fluctuations in price that could be taken advantage of. So they stream over 2 weeks, and the idea is to create kind of a smooth yield delivery across the board for the AFE token as it rises in price relative to ETH.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question that I think is on everybody's mind when it comes to vote lock convex. So in this situation like you've created and you have locked convex and you have a liquid staking derivative, like what happens in the event of a redemption or like what if I want my ETH back, can you explain like how that process works because obviously you're not getting your CVX back immediately, so can you touch on that a little bit?
Absolutely. So users, when they want to exit, they will go to the withdraw or unstake tab. They basically put in a request. And what happens is in that interaction, the user receives 70% of their deposit back immediately. So the portion that's fully liquid, the staked Frax ETH piece, comes back to the user immediately in the form of ETH. And then they get given a date in which they will need to return to the DApp to claim the CVX once it unlocks.
Okay.
And there's basically a mechanism where depending on how much CVX is coming in or coming out, users can actually exit their position sooner than the maximum 16-week lock time. It just kind of depends on what the kind of distribution of the CVX looks like.
I understand.
And then I will say there's one more caveat to it as well. For some users who want to get out immediately, Asym will essentially act as like a mini DEX and swap the user for liquid ETH for a fee. There's not a ton of capacity for that option at the moment,
right?
But as the protocol grows, we'll look to grow that bucket. And so users who want more than, of course, just 70% immediately, but are willing to pay a little bit of a fee in order to get as liquid as possible, will be able to do so just kind of trading against and with Asym. And I think there's a lot of ways that we can play with this in the future of perhaps there could be markets for users who want to get liquid sooner and they're not maybe trading against Asymmetry, but maybe there's a market for it where they're able to put up their claim to their convex that's vote locked and sell it to someone else for a little bit of a discount or something like that. I think there's a lot of ways we could play with that, but that's how it works for just right now.
Very cool. So you're basically creating, somewhat of a buffer for people to be able to exit if they wanted to for a fee.
Exactly. Just giving users as much optionality as possible. And really liquidity is king, right? So we'll look to expand that as quickly as we can.
Yeah, because the people that I've talked to, some of them were like, well, that's just not going to work because it's locked and how is that ever going to happen? And I'm like, wait a minute, these guys have a strategy. There's some things in there that we want to hash out, and I just wanted to make that clear for the audience. And that's a very, very intriguing design. And it does utilize some type of like queuing mechanism too, right? Because you're locking CVX every day. So I assume there's always available CVX to unlock. And that's what I think you were talking about or alluding to, right? This sort of perpetual, locking mechanism and unlocking mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. So the fun really starts in like a little under 16 weeks from now when all of this first batch of CVX has started to unlock. And in that period, as users come in, there, of course, will be convex unlocking as more users are coming in and coming out. So essentially, a lot of users will probably be able to be unstake and get fully liquid within probably a week or two, or maybe even instantly. It just kind of depends. But as soon as that convex starts to unlock, the redemptions and the withdrawal periods will get much, much shorter. And I think the user experience and liquidity as a whole will increase massively. And then, of course, users can always also swap out via the curve pool that's coming soon in partnership with Frax. So it'll be a Frax ETH, AF ETH curve pool that there'll be some incentives on where users can go LP, but they'll always be, of course, able to trade out that way as well.
Interesting. Very, very, very fascinating.
Yeah. By the way, once there's enough liquidity, first of all, I think the whole process is going to be a lot more frictionless and probably quick. And also, like people, will people be able to like choose the token in which they're withdrawing, and maybe for for example, you guys can like incentivize like the kind of withdrawal that you want the user to make, because it benefits the system at that point as well. Like for example, just or is it that anyway the people that are withdrawing, they're getting their ETH back, or they can or can they get like other tokens as well? Do you realize what I'm asking?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, users will just receive ETH back, but built into the contracts, it's not active yet, is the ability for users to also withdraw their CVX portion in CVX if they want to, so it doesn't go directly to the market and get sold. I'll be honest, it's not active yet because there's no CVX unlocking for 16 weeks or so. But if users want that feature, it's simple enough to enable. And I think that it's possible to get creative with what tokens users are coming out with, and probably, to even reduce gas fees further, users maybe could withdraw directly in staked Frax ETH if they'd prefer that as well too.
So in a way, Asymmetry can also be used to like purchase CVX by the user, actually.
I think you could probably make a case for something along those lines, yeah.
That is so
What's
cool.
really cool about the system is that it allows for the ability to utilize get the yield from the two most premier assets in DeFi. You have Ethereum staking yield and Frax, which is obviously probably one of the highest base LSDs, and then CVX with its bribe mechanism. So I think that's where the key is, and that's the big unlock. And then I'm really looking forward to seeing what would happen with a partnership with Protocol FX and something like an FAF ETH, because then my head would explode.
No, keep that head of yours.
Crazy.
We need it. We need it for a while.
Yeah. So anyway, maybe we could touch on that a little later. But I just think that's really a fascinating product that I don't think is on too many people's radar.
I think that's when we're going to start asking about some numbers. I think that maybe we should like make sure that CryptoVestor doesn't hear the whole thing, because I don't know if you can handle it.
Yeah. When the major alpha comes, I'll turn down the volume because I need my head and
go to another room, Vestor, and we'll text you when you can come back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll do that. You can handle it, DeFi Advisor, right?
It's just because I'm very far away in Israel, so the volume is a bit different.
Okay. Actually, I have a question, Justin, maybe you can touch on too, and I know it'd be important for the audience. Like, I know in the beginning there were some slippage issues because you had a lot of interest. You want to touch on that a little bit, just to, and has that been fixed? And I don't know what the caps are right now as far as like how much, each mint can be, or how much, what the top purchase can be for CVX. I know there was a limit at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, maximum deposit size into AF ETH is 100 ETH at one time. Of course, users can do multiple deposits if they want in separate transactions. The idea there is just to limit kind of the pressure that's put on the curve pool in one transaction. We were looking into how do we TWAP and basically split up orders so that there's less pressure going in at any one given time. Because the transactions need to be atomic, it makes it very, very difficult. I will say, it's something that's kind of in the works in the background to see if there's a possible way to be as unbelievably efficient as possible. But slippage-wise, they're custom parameters. Everything's all kind of sorted out now, and then users also even have the option in the front end now to adjust their parameters themselves. And so we've been seeing, really, really small amounts of slippage. I do the calculations almost every time there's a stake, and we take a look in the background, and it's really, really fine margins. So people are getting great execution at the moment.
Perfect. Excellent. K-Max, I don't know if I can turn it back to you. I don't know if you have any questions.
I got a couple more. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've talked a lot about of convex here for asymmetry. Maybe we could talk a little bit about stake Frax ETH and maybe why that was chosen as sort of the as the complementary position for AFETH. Is there anything special about Stake Frax ETH that was really appealing that you guys were like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to build with this one?
Totally. So we did meet with a lot of the different LSTs, and we considered most of them, but ultimately our decision came down to a few things, and I'd say predominantly it was which type of users and which community do we really want to integrate with. So our whole thesis and narrative and everything is centered around real yield because, as I mentioned, we really think that so many yield sources in this ecosystem and all of DeFi historically have been more false. People didn't understand them. I think in the last bear market, a lot of people did start to understand, that 7,000% APY is not 7,000% APY. And we looked for communities that have DeFi users that are relatively knowledgeable, experienced, and understand some fundamentals of the space. And we believe that the communities of both Frax and Convex and Curve have those users, and those communities have been around long enough. These are existing ecosystems. They are a little bit more, I'll say, degen. People are still seeking extra yield, even in the bear market, but they're not seeking yield that is artificial or that they don't understand. So we really think that Frax has a lot of that community that we wanted to target. And then beyond that, we do have, since integrating Stake Frax ETH, a pretty strong relationship and partnership with the entire Frax team and community. There's a few different avenues that we might go down in that regard. And so we're looking at basically potentially scaling onto Fractal, so there would be actually lower gas fees for anyone who's trying to stake, etc. And we have a few future, I'll say, additional yield sources that we will add in that users can opt into. They don't have to do them. They can just get their 10% yield on their position or add on, say, leverage. We have a partner we're working with there. So as we add in those features, we definitely want to be part of a community full of users that, one, understand them, understand the risks of them, but also are interested in them and want them. Because ultimately, Justin and I, we just said, we wish that this product existed in the ecosystem, AFETH. So we built it. And now we want to spread it, but we think that these communities are the right place to start.
It's just a love letter to the Curve DeFi system. Yeah. I love it.
Do you think it's just the first of many hybrid LSTs that we're about to see?
I think that we could see a few more. We haven't seen anyone forking us or anything like that.
Yet.
We did see yet, exactly. It does seem like in DeFi, first mover advantage tends to be pretty sticky.
Yeah.
So as long as the team is very, honorable and has good values, etc. So we're definitely, Justin and I try to be proponents of a lot of the values of the crypto ecosystem. So we might see some forks. I think we'll see more high yield LSTs. As you can see, Unsheath, they just printed a ton of governance token. It didn't work out so well. You have Somalia offers some higher yield on Ethereum. It's higher than staking rewards, but a lot of their yield generation happens off chain. So I think a lot of DeFi users would rather have things remain non-custodial for the company that's offering the yield, and also have everything kind of be open source on chain. So in terms of competitive landscape, things might pop up. I think with our strong relationship to both Convex, Frax, and our future partnerships, I'm personally not too worried, but I think there will probably be forks, as there are with any successful or exciting project.
And all I'll say there too is maybe there's some future hybrid LST products coming with our friends over at Protocol FX.
Oh boy,
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
I'm sure there's plenty of ways you can juice up AFE. I've thought of several myself. And I'm
really?
Sure. Yeah.
When you get K-Mets thinking, you got to watch out. It's because it gets complex.
Now you got to get him talking as well.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Well, actually, I have one question before we go into AFE. What about, is there any plans potentially of maybe mixing the CVX yield with, say, an LRT? That would be a natural extension to an LSD?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of ways to bake that cake, to borrow a phrase from MD, who I know is in the audience. Yes, is the short answer, CryptoVestor. When the caps lift on the staked Frax ETH for Eigenlayer, there will be an effort to ensure that there is LRT yield coming towards AFETH users. And then I think in the future too, we're very close with the EtherFi team and have been for a long time. So maybe there's an opportunity there for us to all work together on something pretty cool in that space as well.
We just had a talk to them actually.
Wow. I almost had to lower the volume because my head was about to explode, but I did it. I managed to get through it.
It's still without the numbers, Vestor, so take it into consideration.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask about numbers soon, so prepare yourself.
Okay. I'm bracing myself. Go ahead.
What I like, I don't know, like it was maybe 2 weeks ago. How long is it since you guys have launched? I'm not even sure it's been 2 weeks. I'm really curious about. I'm really curious. I'm sorry.
Oh, go. It's been about, I think, 10 days.
Wow. Yeah. I thought it was like something about like that. How much have you already been able to raise? Like, how big is the is the treasury or not treasury? Like, how big is the TVL currently? And is it something that you guys have been expecting, or are you guys like, okay, this is working even better than we thought? Or any thoughts on like, because I think that it's like a meteor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. So we basically launched 10 days ago, and we're not announcing our cap limits because we figure if we announce it, that's going to be instantly baked into the price of Convex because you can calculate the buy pressure. But our first cap was at 300 ETH. We hit that in less than 12 hours.
Wow.
So it really came in fast. So that day one, we capped it. We reopened the cap actually yesterday, and we've seen about 135 ETH flow in, even though I think most of the crypto world is traveling to Denver. So we've had people,
Crazy.
we've had people messaging us like, "Oh, I'm on the train, but the cap just opened. I have to get in." So it's been
They're getting on their laptop to deposit their ETH. Oh God.
exactly. So yeah, it's I guess that would make all in all people have been able to deposit for about 36 hours total if you add those two together, and we're sitting at about 450 ETH, $1.5 million. And this is also before we've actually, as I said, we have some cool things coming up, some cool partnerships. We're really excited to launch with someone who is going to allow users to add leverage to their position. There's a little bit of alpha for you, so completely up to the user how much they want to add, and they should understand those risks, but that's another exciting opportunity. So, and then also once we get Eigenlayer integrated, people are going to be getting Eigenlayer points as well. So we have some exciting stuff that I think will continue to kind of steadily grow that TVL number up, but people can stake now, so before this cap closes, people should get in there.
How much? That's actually these are amazing numbers. How much CVX are you guys currently holding?
Let me get the
84,000. 84,000.
CryptoVestor, you got it bookmarked? You just hitting
Yeah. I just checked it.
84,000, you say? That is so cool.
So 84,000 in 10 days.
84,000 in 10 days. I think the price of CVX went from about almost doubled. Isn't it right, Vestor?
Yeah, like $4, or maybe it was a little under $4 when they started, and now
it was
it's
even less.
wasn't
it close to like $3?
Was it less? I don't
wasn't
remember.
It close to like $3 like 2 weeks ago, man?
Could be. Yeah, 2 weeks ago it was definitely like in the $3 range.
I think it's one of the only tokens that's outperformed ETH in the last few weeks in Bitcoin, or it's pretty close. So
Yeah, thanks to you guys.
yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
literally thanks to you guys. This, how do you?
I mean, it just makes too much sense, right? Take a staking token and
does.
get people extra yield using convex. Like
You know what?
it's
I
simple.
I really think that this is such a good point that you've raised here. That you guys have been able to identify such a very simple thing that to be honest, no one really thought of doing earlier. It seems, but I think that the response that you guys have been getting from the community is quite amazing, and I kind of want to ask you about that as well. Like, how do you explain like this kind of support? Is it simply because the people like the idea so much and are into it and are just flowing with it, or is it because of what I'm sure is a lot of the backstage work that you guys have been doing and probably creating connections for I can imagine a few years now, because it seems like I've never heard about you guys until Kmets told me to talk to you guys quickly and set this space up, because you got the newest and coolest product out there. And but right now it seems like pretty much the entire ecosystem is familiar with you guys, and I'm very curious about like how do you think that you guys were able to get such an amazing response out of it? What is like the mix of things that you guys have been doing to get such support?
Yeah, it happened quick, and I'll be honest, I got to give credit to my co-founder where credit is due. Hannah's ability to kind of connect with people is unmatched. It's a superpower, and a lot of that work has been going on behind the scenes for a very long time. I think that we've been very, very pleased and honestly really felt welcomed by like the Curve and Convex communities in the last couple of weeks, and it's been really awesome to see. We really try to align ourselves with the value set, as Hannah talked about, within these communities and what everyone's looking for, and trying to be collaborative and work together and act in the best interest of the protocol, our friends, and the other protocols, etc. But it's been awesome. It's been really, really cool to see. And you guys here in this space are a big part of that. So it is much appreciated. We love you guys.
For sure.
We love you too, man.
Yeah.
Lots of love here. Lots of love.
Yeah.
Nothing but love.
What about some synergies, guys? I'm sure you guys have thought about some interesting stuff. I'm curious to hear.
So let's talk a little bit about FAFE. I mean, it's obviously a thought. It's on my mind. I don't know if it's actually 100% doable because of the liquid situation, the fact that 30% is locked. But if there is a way, if there is a manageable way, like with, what Justin was talking about with by provisioning the liquidity, then, something like an AFE, a stable version of, an LSD that has a composition of convex, incentives plus ETH staking yield. I mean, think of it this way: you can hold a stable coin that's earning bribe yield without locking, and that's just crazy. And then once the eigenlayer stuff comes in, then it also could earn eigenlayer points on top of that. And then you have the X side of things, the X token, so the XF AFE or the XAFE token would be basically leverage on CVX and frac staked ETH. So that is mind blowing, if that's possible, if it's doable.
Yeah, Kmets and I were talking about this the other day. Making no promises, but where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm pretty sure something like that is possible and would be really, really cool. Asym protocol FX and create some crazy, crazy concepts that could really appeal to a massive range of risk profiles for that too.
Yeah.
Right. And then I didn't even mention, the fact that FXN emissions can be pushed to the FAFE pool and actually earn even higher yields as a stable asset. than your native LSD, promoting more locking and more minting of AF ETH in the process.
You said it better than I could, CryptoVestor.
Flywheel.
Yeah, well,
Flywheel.
I'll send you my resume, okay?
Come aboard.
CryptoVestor, you can,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can even ramp things up a little bit more with another Aladdin product.
Oh, you mean Clever?
That's another aspect as well, and that's what makes sort of this whole ecosystem in AFETH so amazing, is because it does have all these aspects that you can build around it and on top of it, and Aladdin has a lot of them sort of like baked in already. And so there's just so many possibilities, right? It's all like conversations right now and trying to figure out. Obviously, it's very, the FX protocol is really new. Clever is kind of really new as well, and so is Asymmetry. And so it's all about kind of figuring out the best way to get this fire lit and turn it into a bonfire, isn't it? So, and I think we're gonna. I mean, you're everybody on this space here is looking at 2 future billion-dollar protocols, or 3 or 4 billion-dollar protocols, right? And so we're all real lucky to be here right at the beginning. So really cool opportunities, lots of possibilities. So I think we'll just have to kind of sit and see how things develop. But yeah.
And
Yeah.
how quickly they will, because with you guys it's like something is an idea on Thursday, and then on Tuesday it's already happening and we're doing a space about it.
Totally. And I guess speaking of on AFETH a little bit, and other parts of our ecosystem, I can drop some alpha if everyone wants to get their pens ready.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
This space is
Do
being
it.
recorded, everyone.
Let me lay down because I didn't get any sleep.
This is not financial advice, but it is indeed alpha.
Okay.
So our ASF token is what will govern the protocol. That will launch sometime in the next few months. But right now you can actually earn gems by minting AFETH, and those gems are basically will be redeemed for a future airdrop. So we just started the airdrop this week as well. We're calculating gems. If you refer friends, you actually get 16% of any gems that they earn. And if they refer friends, you get 8% of those. So tons of network effects. Even little minnows can get a lot of points if they refer people. But that ASF token, a cool feature of it is it will actually earn our protocol revenue, and that'll be paid out to vote escrow ASF token holders. So if you want to start earning some tokens, you get our future protocol rewards. Again, a sustainable long-term vision that we want to perpetuate. And then there will be extra points for, say, once we have one of these leverage solutions, if you test out different things as we add them in. 1, it'll be really fun, and 2, you'll earn even more gems and more yield. So exciting stuff.
Wow, this is actually some very cool stuff with sounds like a very innovative mechanism. So how exactly can people participate in that? You're actually saying that even if people don't have any ETH to deposit currently, and they aren't that liquid, they can still hopefully earn something.
Exactly. So you just go to our site, which is www.asymmetry.finance, and then you can basically go to the GemRush page, generate a referral code, and spread that around. You could even make a Twitter thread, tell people about us, post your referral, and anyone who clicks on that and enters our site via that referral, you'll get some points. So yeah, it's a cool airdrop mechanism, and we're excited to see how it goes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's minting AFETH or getting out that referral code now will get you gems. And then in the future, even more actions will.
That is so cool. You know what, guys? I'm actually thinking about maybe we should get like an ATeam referral code for Asymmetry or something like that.
Ooh. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, we can certainly tweet it out. We've got the followers.
Do it.
Absolutely.
No, that's really fascinating. I mean, the whole thing is just, and then I think Justin, you touched on it a little earlier about, or maybe it was Hannah, like the whole idea of, you know, the way the mechanism works and the fact that the price action of, like, people are actually depositing into AFETH, not just for the great yield, but also that flywheel effect that, you know, if it works properly, which so far in the first 10 days it's proven to kind of be effective, is just this constant buy pressure on CVX, which creates this, you know, you end up with an LSD that's actually worth more than ETH. I don't know if people are thinking of it that way, but that's obviously a very powerful mechanism, and if it's executed properly. And you guys have done an amazing job so far.
Yeah, absolutely, and kind of building on that too. It's an LST that actually has what you can kind of consider to be like self-reinforcing liquidity. As the asset, as AFETH controls more and more CVX, more and more voting power, it basically kind of becomes the asset that you really do in fact want to own, especially maybe you go LP with that asset and there's additional yield able to be shot on over to that curve pool because of it. And so as the liquidity increases, then that means that CVX controlled increases, which means that there's more voting power available to direct further rewards, which means that liquidity is able to increase and yield is able to increase. And you know what I'm getting at now? It's a flywheel.
Yes, I am. because now, like, for example, the next Vodium round, you know, the convex deposit into Vodium is going to be a larger deposit. And so as this keeps growing, those deposits are going to get larger, which is going to promote higher incentivization from other protocols. And so that's how the flywheel spins. Am I right?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to bake that cake, but all of them end up with the same conclusion of AFETH is a sweet LST to own, and liquidity flywheel, yield flywheel, all the above.
Awesome, love it, 100%. K-Mets, I don't know if you have any questions.
Yeah. So let me just ask
throw it back to you.
now. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of getting towards the end of our hour here, but Justin or Hannah, do you guys want to talk about sort of kind of like what's next? What can folks look forward to here in the near future? I know that obviously the minting of AFETH is going on, but I'll let you guys speak to sort of like what folks can look forward to here.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Go for it, Hannah.
Cool. So yeah, minting AFETH, leverage in the near future, eigenlayer, as we've mentioned. We're also going to keep adding different tasks to the gem rush. So you can probably watch as our liquidity in the ecosystem grows. Incentives on different DEX pools if you want even additional yield on your AFETH. And then also looking forward to collab with Protocol FX. So there's a whole lot coming up in the roadmap. We're also considering adding an option in which users could actually ramp up the convex exposure if they want and customize that a little bit. So if you want higher yield, you know, you can have even more convex. I think a lot of us are bullish convex, so we always need more. So that's another exciting thing that we're looking into. So a pretty busy roadmap.
Wait. Can we distill that just a little bit? So you're saying that we could change that underlying percentage, that 30%?
Yep, higher convex allocation, higher yield.
Okay, I'm going to go lay down again.
Maybe there's CryptoVestor. Maybe it's a sliding scale, or maybe there's junior and senior.
Is there a slider on this website?
CryptoVestor's customized position. It would be 90% VLCBS.
Exactly. It's 10%, you know, stake bracket ETH, and it's 90% VLCBX.
You're gonna be top in the charts.
No, actually, it would. And then in the bear market, it would be FAFE earning, you know, all of the underlying bribe yield.
Yes.
That's gonna be crazy. Let me know when you rotate.
Okay, that's awesome. I will let you know. So yeah, like a sliding scale, that would be very cool. Imagine, like, I can see the app already. Like, you could just choose, even choose like a different LSD, you know, down the road, or LRT, and then maybe the slider, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, and wow,
Exactly.
that's powerful.
You're reading our mind. So that's how we envision the LRT integrations. We'll let choosers use whatever they want, whichever is their favorite or whatever they choose between staking tokens and restaking tokens, get additional yield that way, and then also increase composability everywhere. So they get their position token and they can go borrow against that, leverage it, etc. Composability, money Legos.
It's a
Phenomenal.
CVX LST, everyone.
Yeah, it's what it's meant to be. It's basically the premier. You're taking the LRTs or LSD and LRTs, and you're taking CVX, which is one of the highest yielding assets, and you're combining the two, which is just it's pretty magical.
It's that love letter to the curved convex Frax ecosystem, isn't it? It's what we've all dreamed of, and Justin and Hannah have brought it to us in the Asymmetry team. So yeah, man, congratulations, guys. Well done on your launch so far. It looks like it's gone really well. We've been super pleased to have you on here today. Any last words from either of you before we close this out?
I guess just if anyone wants more information, our site is www.asymmetry.finance, and then our Twitter is up here as a listener, but it's at asymmetryfin.
Excellent.
There you go, guys. Well, go check them out. Go sign up for their gem referrals. It sounds like that's going to be a pretty cool program and possibly lucrative in the future. Not financial advice, obviously, but just you're going to want to pay attention to that pretty closely. It sounds like.
Yeah, maybe a degen advice. If you
There you go. Yeah. My financial advice these days normally revolves around like good coupons for like Home Depot or the grocery store stuff. So that's sort of the financial advice you want to take from me usually.
Your financial advice is about 4 specific tokens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, everybody, we enjoyed having Hannah and Justin on today to talk with Asymmetry Finance. The future is extremely bright for them and also for Protocol FX and FXUSD. Everybody, go hop on over to FX and go mint you some FXUSD. It's live. You can do it. And I tell you what, there's going to be places where you can use it here in the very, very near future. So keep your eyes peeled for that as well.
So cool. Justin and Hannah, really thank you guys for coming, and really amazing work, guys. I think you guys really had obviously a very good idea with a lot of PMF. You realized something that needs to be done, and you've executed it. And it seems that you've done it on several levels at a very useful and clever way. And much respect for the support and the success that it seems that you've already been getting, and looking forward to see what you guys come up with next. Much luck to you, and already looking forward to the next one. Honestly, I think that we're going to have hopefully some stuff to talk about in the future as well.
Yeah, and Hannah and Justin, thank you so much. As a CVX maxi myself, I commend you. And I look forward to working with you guys to help you out in any way possible. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so
Likewise,
much
guys,
for having us.
Really appreciate it. This was fun.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Glad, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
K-Mets, thanks for hosting, man. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Bye.
Thank you, K-Mets.
You got it, guys. See ya.
Bye.